You see this because you passed the final test that could change your life. If this appeared in your feed, it wasn't accidental. This is your moment, your undeniable signal that something massive has shifted. You won't want to miss the final habit, or 99% will remain stuck in this dynamic for life. Inner Crucible. You're here because you've navigated a psychological storm that fractures most people. What feels like a breakdown is actually a profound breakthrough, a violent shattering of your old self to forge something entirely new. This isn't a metaphor, it's a monumental shift in consciousness, a rigorous test designed not to destroy you, but to initiate you into a more potent version of yourself. The world might tell you you're falling apart, that something is broken, but the truth, the secret you're about to uncover, is that you are in fact evolving. This passage, this intense confrontation with your inner world, is the gateway to a power you never knew you possessed. Projection collapse. Life has a way of forcing you to look inward, especially when the external scaffolding you relied on crumbles. For years, you've been unconsciously placing your power, your happiness, your validation onto others. You blamed them for your misfortunes, handed over the reins of your self-worth to authority figures, and expected partners to complete you. You waited for approval from parents, recognition from bosses, a sense of belonging from society. Then the test begins. These projections shatter. Suddenly, parents aren't the sole architects of your struggles, partners aren't the arbiters of your fulfillment, and external validation loses its intoxicating grip. This feels like a profound loss, a terrifying unraveling of the comfort provided by illusion, but it's the first spark of your authentic power returning. All that psychic energy you scattered outward is being reclaimed. You're forced to confront the stark, liberating reality. The source of your problems and the wellspring of your solutions have always resided within you. No savior is coming. No external force will mend what feels broken. The answers you seek are not out there. They are within. This realization is both devastating and unbelievably liberating. Shadow integration. Once you stand alone, stripped of the borrowed power of projection, you face the abyss. This is the most formidable part of the journey, the confrontation with your shadow. This is the repository of everything you've spent your life denying, repressing, and projecting onto others. It holds your unexpressed rage, your suppressed selfishness, your hidden cruelty, your judged sexuality, your disowned ambition, your masked neediness. Every quality you've deemed unacceptable, every dark impulse you've pushed into the unlit corners of your psyche now demands acknowledgement. You can no longer pretend these aspects don't exist. You see yourself capable of the very behaviors you've condemned most fiercely in others. Your harshest judgments of humanity were in fact unconscious descriptions of your own disowned self. This can feel like a complete moral collapse. If you contain these darker elements, does that negate your inherent goodness? If you're capable of manipulation or selfishness, how are you distinct from those you despise? But here lies the profound secret. Integrating your shadow doesn't make you a monster. It makes you a whole human. These repressed qualities are not inherently evil. They become destructive only when they remain unconscious. When you drag them into the light of awareness, when you accept them as part of your complex self, their destructive power dissipates. Rage transforms into assertive boundary setting. Selfishness becomes vital self-care. Cruelty morphs into discerning judgment about who truly deserves your energy. Sexuality ignites as potent creative force. Ambition fuels meaningful accomplishment. You gain mastery over these energies. Instead of them erupting unconsciously when you're stressed, you consciously choose how and when to express them. This demands a brutal honesty with yourself, an admission of your capacity for darkness. It feels like losing your innocence, your moral high ground, but it's actually the genesis of true ethics. By acknowledging your potential for darkness, you can consciously choose your actions, becoming responsible for your shadow rather than its unconscious puppet. Persona dissolution. The third stage is the most socially disruptive. Your persona, the carefully constructed mask you wear for the world, begins to disintegrate. This is the acceptable face you've presented for years. The professional identity, the perfect family member, the likable friend, the personality sculpted for approval and the avoidance of rejection. You've honed this performance, becoming so adept that you might have even fooled yourself. You mastered the art of saying the right things, adopting different personas for different audiences. But now, maintaining this facade becomes an unbearable act. You can no longer feign enthusiasm for social performances. The drive to impress others evaporates. Every interaction feels like an exhausting charade. You watch yourself navigate a party, a meeting, a conversation, and feel a profound disgust for the performance. People who knew your old self are confused, sometimes threatened. They urge you to return to normal, to the person they understood. They might suggest external fixes, therapy, or medication to restore your previous personality. Family might see you as selfish. Friends may drift away because you no longer play the expected role. Colleagues find you difficult because you're unwilling to participate in corporate games. But the persona cannot be rebuilt because it was never truly yours. It was a survival strategy, a protective layer demanded by a world that punished authenticity. Having glimpsed the raw self beneath, you cannot unknow it. You stand exposed, stripped of the veneer that made you socially palatable. This feels like social death, and in many ways, it is. The version of you people knew is gone. They must now confront and accept the authentic you, or their presence in your life will fade. True integration. After the persona falls, after projections withdraw, and your shadow is brought into the light, the expectation from society is utter psychological collapse. Without your defenses, without your masks, you should be completely vulnerable, irrevocably broken. For your entire life, you've been conditioned to believe that authenticity leads to destruction. But here's the astonishing secret, the profound discovery that utterly redefines this ordeal. The pivotal moment of passing this test is not about fighting the darkness, rebuilding defenses, or seeking a spiritual escape. It's about acceptance and integration. This is the key, not improvement, not transcendence, not pretending you're above human flaws. Integration. You don't eradicate your shadow, you embrace it as a vital part of your complete self. You don't reconstruct your persona, you learn to engage authentically, navigating social landscapes with newfound wisdom. You don't project power back onto external authorities. You claim your own with a humble awareness of your limits. Integration means holding the inherent tension between opposing forces within you. You are capable of kindness and cruelty, so you choose kindness consciously, acknowledging your capacity for cruelty. You possess both selfishness and generosity, so you are generous strategically, safeguarding necessary self-interest. You contain both darkness and light, and you cease pretending the darkness doesn't exist. This is the union of opposites, becoming fully human in your magnificent complexity. This integration cultivates a profound psychological stability. When you are no longer at war with yourself, when you've accepted your totality, life's challenges lose their power to shatter you. You've already faced the ultimate terror, your own inner darkness. External catastrophes still sting, but they cannot obliterate your fundamental sense of self. You have returned from the underworld of your own psyche, irrevocably changed. Evolved consciousness. Once you've passed this crucible, remarkable capacities emerge. You develop an almost supernatural calm amidst chaos. While others panic, you remain centered, having already confronted your deepest fears. Job loss, relationship endings, social rejection, these are still painful, but they don't dismantle your core identity. Your ability to perceive others becomes uncannily sharp. You see through social masks instantly because you're no longer wearing one yourself. You detect manipulation effortlessly, having stopped deceiving yourself. You recognize unspoken emotions and hidden motives because you've illuminated your own unconscious depths. People might accuse you of being overly analytical, but you're simply seeing reality as it is, not as people wish to present it. This clarity can be isolating, as you can't unsee dysfunction in relationships or systems that others desperately deny. You become remarkably immune to manipulation. Tactics of guilt, shame, or social pressure prove ineffective. Your projections are withdrawn, rendering authority figures powerless. Your shadow integration shields you from shame based on your own disowned traits. Your dropped persona liberates you from the need for social approval. When someone tries to guilt you, you recognize it as a tactic, not valid feedback. When someone attempts to shame you, you've already accepted the very qualities they seek to weaponize. You are no longer easily controlled, a terrifying prospect for those who depend on dominance. And finally, you cultivate an unshakable sense of purpose. Not preordained fate, but a profound knowing that your life possesses meaning beyond external validation or achievement. You are connected to something far greater than your ego. This sense of purpose arises not from feeling special, but from embracing your unique individuality, recognizing that your specific blend of gifts, wounds, and experiences serves a vital purpose. You stop chasing borrowed scripts and start living from your integrated self. Your presence here, your recognition of these descriptions, marks you as part of a rare collective. You have officially passed this test. The suffering wasn't random. It was the rigorous training that forged you. Your isolation built self-reliance. Your loss of interest in superficial pursuits redirected your energy toward depth. Your shadow revelations expanded your psychological capacity. Each crack in your persona fostered authenticity. This test was designed not to break you, but to break you open, to shatter the limitations of your old identity and force you to confront the magnificent fullness of who you truly are. You passed by seeking understanding, by refusing to accept that something was wrong. You questioned until you found a framework that explained your experience as transformation, not pathology. This willingness to seek truth over comfort is your undeniable mark of passage. The secret Jung discovered offers more than personal liberation. It's a shift in collective consciousness. As more individuals integrate, as more conscious humans emerge, humanity itself evolves. Your integrated state, even in its nascent stages, operates differently. People sense a fundamental change, even if they can't articulate it. Some are drawn to your authenticity, recognizing a possibility they suppress within themselves. Others are repelled, your integrated state mirroring their own denied aspects, prompting discomfort and blame. Both responses confirm you've transcended the collective unconsciousness. You've pioneered psychological territory that future generations will navigate more easily. Your courage in facing your darkness, dropping your masks, and withdrawing your projections creates ripples, making the path slightly smoother for others. You don't lose your capacity for love, joy, or connection. You gain them authentically. You learn to love not to complete yourself, but from a place of wholeness. Joy arises not from external validation, but from within. Connections become genuine, free from the performance of acceptance. Life becomes more vivid, more real, as you shed the filters of defense. Integrated individuals don't retreat from life. They engage with it more fully, no longer afraid of their own depths. They embrace the full spectrum of human experience, the ecstasy and the agony, the beauty and the horror without fragmentation. This capacity for wholeness is the profound gift of the final test. Your engagement with this wisdom is irrefutable evidence you have passed. You recognized your experience, understood your psychological death was a birth, and you are ready to claim the secret your suffering has purchased. Integration is your superpower. You contain multitudes, and you no longer fear any aspect of yourself. The darkness you once dreaded is now your ally. The masks you wore have become the compost for authentic expression. The power you gave away has returned home. You stand as a complete human being, a testament to individuation, becoming the individual you were always meant to be. Your next chapter will be written from this integrated self, not from borrowed scripts. You will make choices that baffle others, set boundaries they deem harsh, and speak truths that make them uncomfortable. Not from malice, but from the simple inability to live inauthentically any longer. Comment below with the words, "I passed the test," to consciously claim this recognition. Cement your triumph. If this framework illuminated your journey, press like and subscribe for more profound insights into consciousness. Share this with someone you know who may be in the midst of their own breakdown, believing it's the end when it's actually the beginning. What looks like collapse is breakthrough. You found the secret. The final test wasn't destruction, it was initiation. You've joined the rare ranks of those who know themselves completely. Wow, this hit me hard. Felt like I was reading my own diary. The persona dissolution part. Oof.